weeks also. So I can't take risk because in Aligarh we don't have any center of Swaram. So either I have to go Delhi, Agra, or Lucknow. It will take time. So I can't enroll in exam. So
Okay.
hopefully next time I'll try.
No, no, I'm not forcing you. I was just asking you, like,
No,
in a
ma'am,
very
I'm just
perspective.
telling my grievances, and I've been enrolled in this semester. I have enrolled in six courses, and
Okay,
still I'm not going to take none of these exams.
okay, okay. Thank you, Danish. Okay, let me start. In this session, we will try to summarize the topic, the physical geography in the Indian context, in which we have three subtopics. The first is structure and physiography of India. We will know what is structure and physiography. Then we will try to summarize the climate and habitat of India, what type of climate we have in India, and what type of habitat is present in India. And then, yes, we will summarize the drainage system in which we will focus on the drainage pattern. Then we will solve some assignment question. Okay. So let's start with this first part, the structure and physiography of India. Danish, can you see this world map and the India location? India location is in northeast.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so why it is northeast, not the northwest or like southeast?
Ma'am, can I answer?
Yes, yes, please, Kuldeep.
Uh, because it is in the northern hemisphere, that's why it is
Okay.
in north, and it is in eastern position of globe. That's why northeast
Okay,
quadrant.
so you are trying to say that if we are talking about the latitudes, then it is in the northern latitude, and if we are talking about the longitudes, so it is in the east side of the
Eastern.
longitude, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we see it from the bird perspective, it is in a northeast direction, northeast position. But if we talk about the Asia, then we call India as a southeast country. So why southeast?
Southeast portion of Asia.
Yes, exactly. So if we talk about the Asia, then our country is a South Asia, Southeast country. And if we are talking about the world, then we can say it is a Northeast country. Okay, so if you people are preparing for the UPSC, you must know what's the latitudinal extent or the range of India. So if we talk about the latitudinal range, then it starts from 6 degree 45 minute to 37 degree 6 minute north. This is the latitudinal range, and the distance between this 6 to 37 is 3215 kilometer. And if we talk about this longitudinal extent, that it starts from 68 degree 7 minute to 97 degree 25 minutes, and the distance between it is 2933 kilometer. And because this is the Tropic of Cancer, below it we have the tropical region, and above it we have the subtropical region. So this is the India location. If we talk about the administrative boundary of the India, then we have 28 state and two UTs. What are newly formed two UTs? Can anyone tell?
Jammu and
Ladakh
Kashmir
and Jammu
and
Kashmir.
Ladakh.
Okay, and can you say here, see here, the executive capital of this Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh are like two. For Jammu and Kashmir, we have Srinagar and Jammu. Srinagar is for the summer, and Jammu is for winter. And like that, in Ladakh, we have Leh in the summer season and Kargil for the winter season. So they, these UTs have two administrative capital, and these are the UTs you already know. I will not go into this state. Just we can see here this Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh has been is no longer the state but the UTs. and newly formed Telangana. How many years it has been that Telangana has formed? In which year Telangana was formed?
2014 maybe.
I don't know the year. I just had in my mind to ask you, so I asked you. I don't know, but you should know it. Like, okay. Okay, so this was about the location, the latitudinal extent, the longitudinal extent, and the distance between it. Yes. Okay, Danish, you can ask me the question.
And in the previous slide, there was a map of India, the political boundaries, and there uh, still part of Jammu Kashmir and Arunachal Pradesh is marked as faded. So is it
You
really
are
means
not
that it is not a
audible.
part of?
Danish, which is
Ma'am,
not the part of what?
ma'am,
Yes,
I
please speak.
want to know that the part of LOC or the part of Arunachal Pradesh is faded in the map. So is it still uh, not part of India?
Ma'am, can
Which
I
one?
ask what he is trying to say?
Ma'am, this part, the faded
Yes,
part.
yes, yes. Please, please,
Ma'am,
Kuldeep.
he is saying that the part of Jammu Kashmir, uh, especially that
Mm-hmm.
LOC, POK, and the
Mm-hmm.
and also in the Arunachal Pradesh region. So he wanna ask,
Mm-hmm.
is it the part of India that they are showing that they are not actually that is of China under China and the Arunachal Pradesh and POK is under Pakistan and we saw our map as we can see in the right map we are showing the
Mm-hmm.
full. So who has this portion?
Okay, so let me clear it. That because this LOC is the disputed area, neither India has this area nor this Pakistan has. So if you see this map, I think this map is created by some Indian people. But if we consider the UN things, United things, so UN says that this POK is neither the part of India nor the Pakistan. It is the disputed. But if we talk about the Arunachal Pradesh, then yes, it is not the disputed yet. It is the Indian part. So I think this map is right because here we can see this part is not our. This is the LOC part, and Arunachal is obviously ours. So I think this is the answer that I can give.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So let's talk about the geological region. These geological region are basically on the about the rocks and other forming materials. Based on these materials and the rocks, we have divided India into three different types. Sorry, three different parts. The first is the mountains. The mountains we have. Second, the peninsular block, and third is the Indo-Ganga Brahmaputra plain. So if we talk about the mountains, so basically here we are focusing on the northern mountains that we have the Himalayas. So most of the Himalayas mountains are made up of sedimentary rock. Uh, can anyone tell me why this sedimentary rock, not other type of, not the igneous rock uh, or the other type of rocks? Why only the
Yes,
sedimentary rock is there? Yes,
yes, yes, ma'am. Because, ma'am, during the formation of Himalayas, there was a Tethys Sea, and
yes,
due to
exactly. You got
antecedent
the
rivers,
point.
yeah,
Yes.
they deposited a lot of sediment layer by layer. And when the Indian plate was moving towards the Asian plate, then the sediment crumbled and it come up like a mountain range.
So, yes, so you wanted to tell me that because we had two plates, these two plates were coming together, but in between that we had the sea and sea had the some sedimentary rock. And if these two plates came and converged, okay, Danish, you can you can raise your hand first. I will call you first. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so this is the story of mountains. If we talk about the peninsular block, so this peninsular word, what does it mean? Can anyone tell me? Peninsular. This is made
Danish.
up of this penin and penin plus sular. So what does it mean? Penin and what is this sular?
And
Okay, ma'am,
as
can
far
you
as
answer?
I know,
Okay, that's
peninsula is a piece of land surrounded by water from three sides and one side from land.
Yes, exactly. So this is a Greek word in which tannin is almost, okay, and solar is like island. Okay, so it is almost like an island. And what is island? Island is always surrounded by the water, but peninsula is almost like the island because there may be some side that is not surrounded by the water. Okay, so in Indian context, the peninsular is when three side of it is surrounded by the water. It makes the peninsular block. Okay, so the second is peninsular block, and this is very old and basaltic in nature because this was the time when a volcanic eruption happened and basaltic material spewed out. Then we have the Indo-Ganga Brahmaputra plain. So these are the deposition that has been done by the rivers. So after the deposition, plain has been formed by the alluvial deposit. So this is the third kind of region we have in India. Okay, I think yes. Okay, now let's talk about this physiographic region. We have talked about the geological region. Now the turn is for the physiographic region. So physiography is the outcome of structure, process, and stage of development. And if we want to know what is the physiographic region, so definition is these are the large areas that share similar relief and landform shaped by common geomorphic processes and geological time. And if we are, there is another definition in another way. So this definition says a physiographic region is a geographic region that has a distinctive combination of landforms, climate, vegetation, and other natural features. So 3 points you have to keep in your mind that they share similar relief and landforms because these are shaped by the common geomorphic processes. Okay, so based on this definition, India has been divided, classified into 6 parts. These 6 parts are the northern mountains, northern plains, Thar desert, peninsular plateau region, then coastal plain and island. We will talk about it one by one. Okay, northern mountains. So if we talk about in the northern mountain, we know that the Himalayas are the dominating, right? So in the Himalayas, if we talk about the position, then at the top of our country, above this Ladakh and Jammu Kashmir region, we have the Karakoram range. Above it, in the western side, we have the Western Himalaya. In the eastern side, we have the Eastern Himalaya, and in mid of this western and eastern, we have the Central Himalaya. So these are based on this location, we have divided our northern mountains. Can anyone tell me like what's the difference between mountains, range, and hills? Because this is here I okay Kuldeep. Yes, Danish, you lagged behind. Okay, Kuldeep, tell me the answer.
Yes, ma'am. So a hill is a small mountain. A,
Okay,
a mountain is a very huge when compared to a hill. Mountain
okay,
when they are mountains when they are in a series that is called a mountain range.
okay. Can it be a hill range as well?
Hill ranges, yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so when you are talking about a series of either the mountain or the hills, you will call it a range. Okay, either it
Yes.
is the mountain range or the hill range. Okay, so what is the mountain? Mountain is an elevated area. Okay, elevated earth crust. And if this elevated crust has a very sharp point, okay, if it is a sharp point and very well defined summit, if it has, then we will call it a mountain. And if this mountain, the peak of this mountain has been rounded, okay, because of some erosional activities or something like that, if it doesn't have uh, any well defined peak or the summit, then we will call it a hill. And most of the time, mountain found in a range, but heel can be like found heels are rarely in the group, but they are present individually. Okay, so there are two or three differences, and even the height of this mountain is larger than the hills. So I think the difference between range, mountain, and hills are well clear, right? So we are talking about the Himalayan range. So here we have the Karakoram range. Above it, we have the Ladakh range. Then we have the Jaskar range. Then we have the Kailash range. Here we have the Great Himalayan range. Here we have the here we have the Shivalik, and here we have the Lesser Himalayan range. So let's talk about hills and different mountains we have in this range. So the important is K2, where K2 is present. It is in the Ladakh range. Can anyone tell me the height of this K2?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, Daksh, tell me.
8,611 meters.
Oh my God! How do you know the exact number? You
Ma'am,
just
because he
search
is
it.
having geography as a major subject. And
Okay,
currently, he is also, his teacher is teaching him geography of India. That's why he knows a lot of things.
yes, I got the point. Why Kuldeep has the exact number like of this K2? That's amazing. Okay, then we have this Nanda Devi, Kambet, even the Mount Everest. Mount Everest. Okay, Kuldeep, we will talk about it later. What's the story behind it? Why do you know the exact height of this K2 mountain? Okay, so we have this Mount Everest, which is present in this Great Himalayan range. Then we have Kanchenjunga, and then this Namcha Barwa, and Namcha Barwa is in the eastern portion of our India. We have other mountain as well, but we have this figure only, and this figure shows some only great mountains. That's why I just talked about it. Then, if we talk about the Northeast Mountain range and hills, then we have this like this from northeast to southeast or the southwest. We have these three major hills: the Mizo Hill, Naga Hill, and Patkai Bum. And in this region, we have the three hills: Garo Hills, Khasi, and Gentia. And based on that, we also have tribe name based on these hills. Then we already have talked about Mount Everest, then Kanchenjunga, and can anybody tell me about this Jalapla, Bomdila? What are these? Why
Yes,
there are
ma'am.
la at the end? Okay, Kuldeep, I think you are studying
Mm.
right now the physical geography of India. Oh, okay, okay, tell me about it.
These are passes that are located between two mountains, and we can go through these. These are openings between two mountains.
Yes, yes, you are right. And why these openings are present here? Like, what's the reason that there is opening? Is it the erosional activities or something like other things that we have?
Maybe, ma'am, river erosion.
Yes. Okay.
I have no idea about it.
Okay. Then we have the this is just like this one, but this one is more clear because here we can see here the Himalayas. Sorry, here the hills, the Janetia, Khasi, and the this Garo hills. Then these hills are also, this range of hills are also important in the point of view monsoon. We will talk about it later. Okay, so the first physiographic reason was the northern Himalayas, northern mountains. Now the second part is the northern plains. So in the northern plains, we will see here some part of Rajasthan, whole Punjab, Haryana, some part of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal, Assam has the plain area. So these are the northern plains. These northern plains are formed because of the sedimentary deposition, and when the river carries some sediments and it deposit it, we will call it the alluvial deposits. And because of this alluvial deposit, it make the land very fertile and agriculture, and make the land suitable for the agriculture. So here, no, I just found it from the Google. I don't make this kind of map. I'm the climate student and the environment student. I just take it from the Google and some kind of book from where I teach you. Okay. So these are the plains. Then we have four plains in the Rajasthan plain, the Punjab and Haryana plains, Ganga plains, which is the Uttar Pradesh and this Bihar and West Bengal is the part of this Ganga plain, and then we have the Brahmaputra, this West Bengal and this Assam are the part of this Brahmaputra plain as well. So we have four belts in the northern plain. The first is the Babar belt. So Babar belt can be found at the foothills of the Himalayas, and this is the region where the river get disappear. Okay, so this is the Babar belt. If next to it we have the Tarai belt. In the Tarai belt, all the river that has been disappeared in the Babar come out. Okay, and because of that, we have very like the watershed and marshy land we can found in this Tarai belt. Then we have the Bangar belt. Before that, we will talk about this Khadar belt. Whenever the river is crossing, it will deposit some sediments. So newly deposit land will be called as the Khadar belt. And whenever every time it deposits some sediments, so it will push the older sediments in the opposite direction. Okay, so the older alluvial will form the Bangar belt. So you must know about this four belt: the Babar, Tarai, Bangar, and Khadar belt. We have the Indian desert. So this some part of Rajasthan has the Indian desert. In Indian desert, we also have some hills and ranges because we have the Aravalli hills in this region. And why did I mention this Guru Shikhar hills, Guru Shikhar mountain here? What is the significance? Why did I write the Guru Shikhar here? Can anyone guess?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
it is
I
the
think it is the
highest
highest peak in the
Okay.
Roughly ranges.
Rajasthan.
Okay, this time you two people spoke simultaneously. Well done. Okay, so yeah, that's the reason, because this is the highest peak that is found in the Aravalli range. Then we also have the Kumbhalgarh and Taragarh hills here. Then we also have a Ramgarh crater here. This crater has been formed due to what? Can anyone guess?
Yes, due to a meteoroid.
Yes, when the meteorite
Impact
struck
of
the
meteoroid.
earth, it formed a crater. So we have the Ramgarh crater in this area as well. And the direction of these hills or ranges is from southwest to northeast. So this southwest to north east direction make a disadvantage for the desert area. So what is the disadvantage?
Ma'am, it blocks the clouds to go the leeward side, works as a barrier.
It doesn't block because it is parallel to the wind, and when it is parallel to the wind, then whatever the part of Rajasthan we have, we don't get the rainfall. If it would be the perpendicular, then it will stop this air, stop this wind that has the moisture, and there could be a rain. But if it is in a particular, in a parallel direction, then wind will go. Like it will not be stopped by this kind of hills or mountains, and because of that, deserts or this Rajasthan region don't have the much rainfall as in the monsoon. So because of this Aravali being in the parallel direction, these Aravalis don't stop the moisture laden wind. So here is the desert area. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, next we talk about this peninsular plateau. In the peninsular plateau, we have three parts. The first is the Deccan Plateau. Here, in the south part of this peninsular plateau, we have the Deccan Plateau. Above it, we have the Central Highlands, and here we have the Northeast Plateau. Okay, so these three part makes this peninsular plateau. And we have some ranges, mountain ranges in it: the Aravalis, the Vindhya range, Satpura range, Mahadev hills, Makai range, Western Ghat, and Eastern Ghat. Okay, so what do you mean by Deccan traps? What do you mean by here about these traps? Why the trap? What does this mean, traps? I guess Kuldeep, Danish.
No, ma'am, no idea.
Okay, so here trap means like it is like some Arabic, or I don't know the Greek word, which says that it is a stair-like structure. Okay, so when there was volcanic activities, so layer by layer, the this basaltic material spewed out. Okay, and when the erosional activities happened, it formed the stair-like structure. So when it is the stair-like structure, we will call it is the Deccan traps. Okay, so here we can see the staircase pattern after the erosional activities, and we also know that this is the region where the basaltic materials spew out and the layer of basalt deposited. And yes, these central highlands are the extension of the peninsular plateaus. Let's talk about Western and Eastern Ghat. So here in the Eastern and Western Ghat, we don't have the sharp peak. What's the reason? Why there is a not sharp peak just like the Himalayas? Danish, you can speak.
Ma'am, I don't know about it.
Okay.
Ma'am, because these are not, yeah, ma'am, because these are not on the lithospheric boundary, plate boundary. These are not formed because of collision of plate boundaries.
Can I say that these are the old mountains, and because of erosional activities, the sharp edges of this mountain has been eroded and it has become rounded?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. This is also
Yes,
the
Yes.
ma'am.
reason.
Okay, so one reason is that, and second is if we talk about the mountains in Himalayan region, then the glacier activities make a very sharp peak. But here we don't have the glacial activities, and because of also we have the rounded peaks here in the Western and Eastern Ghat. Okay, the next question is this Eastern coastal plain. This side we have the much wider. These are much wider than the Western coastal plain. So what's the reason behind it? It has been written somewhere here, I think. Yes.
Ma'am,
Because of tectonic activity.
Okay, yes,
ma'am, can I answer?
yes.
Ma'am, because of the most of the rivers makes a delta near the Western Ghats. Sorry, Eastern Ghats.
Okay, yes. And why deltas are not being formed in the Western Ghat?
Ma'am, because the slope is not gentle like Eastern one. The slope is very steep. That's why there are no deltas in Western
Okay.
Ghats.
Okay, here as well, it has been written due to tectonic activities, this eastern part uplifted while this western part down drifted. Okay, and because this continental shelf exposed in this area in the eastern Ghat, but in the western Ghat it has been submerged because it has been exposed. Now here the sea is shallow, here it is a deep, and because of deep, most of the port can be found in the western Ghat, but not in the eastern port. Sorry, not Ghat, but in the western port, uh, western coast, but not in the eastern coast. So this is also one of the questions that has been asked in UPSC. Why most of the ports are present in the western coast, but not on the eastern coast? I think this is clear from this volcanic activities and the uplifting and down drifting of this region. Okay, so the fifth region we have in the India is the coastal plain. So again, we have the question, because this coastal plains has the very flat and agriculture suitable land. Why? I think Kuldeep, you already have answered it.
Yes, ma'am. Because of the deltas, Kaveri,
Exactly.
Mahanadi, Damodar,
Exactly,
and the
exactly.
Sundarbans.
Because in this coastal area, most of the river converge and form the deltas, and these delta uh, bring very rich nutrient with it that makes the it suitable for the agriculture and make it flat as well. So we have Utkal Plain. Utkal Plain, this is the part of the Mahanadi Delta, and then we will talk about this Chilka Lagoon later. Chilka, what is the specification of Chilka Lagoon? Why it is lagoon? Because it is
Ma'am,
Ma'am, because
because
okay. Danish, you speak.
ma'am, basically, lagoon is a part of shallow water.
Okay,
So,
shallow water, and is it brackish water or fresh water? Fresh
ma'am,
water
it
body.
is brackish water.
Yes, exactly. Okay, you know about it already. Okay, let's talk about it. Islands. When we talk about island, we have two islands, that is Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar. In within this Andaman and Nicobar and this Lakshadweep, we have a lot of small island as well. The point we have to need in our mind is that Lakshadweep is made up of the biological origin, because we already about the atolls, and in which we have the coral activities that is happening, and that coral activities, that region has been emerged out from the sea surface, and that will make up the Lakshadweep. And if we talk about the Andaman and Nicobar, so these are the above sea extension of the submarine ridges. So these were the 6 different regions, physiographic regions in India. So let's talk about the climate and habitat of India. So the climate definition says that it is a broad composite of the average condition of a region, measured in terms of such things as temperature, amount of rainfall, snowfall, snow, ice cover, and winds. So can I know the difference between the climate and the weather?
Ma'am, weather is a day-to-day or daily phenomena, whereas climate is the sum total of weather. It means weather can change day to day, time to time, hour to hour, but climate cannot be changed. It can change uh, after 30 to 35 years.
Okay, so the standard time for measuring the change in climate is 30 years, right? Okay, so weather is exactly what Danish said. The weather is what you expect, weather is what you get, and climate is what you expect. Okay, so okay. So the climate of peninsula is determined by water on all three sides. We will talk about how this, what are the determining factor of the climate. So here for the peninsula, water decide the climate of this peninsula, and because of water, we have the equitable. Equitable means nor hot and nor cold there in this peninsular region because of the sea or the water. So let's talk about the factors that are determining it. First is the latitudinal extent. Kuldeep, will you explain how this latitudinal extent will determine the climate of India?
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Ma'am, when we see India, it is uh, ex- extended around 30 degrees
Mhm.
lati- the latitudinally. So this makes a really impact because of insolation. The southern part gets more insolation than the northern one. So there are different types of climatic zones, uh,
Okay,
biological
so
hotspots.
because some region is near to the Tropic of Cancer and near to the equator, so we will get the higher insolation. If we get the higher insolation, we will get the higher evaporation. If we will get the higher evaporation, then we will get the higher precipitation as well. So we can expect that in that region that is near to equator or the Tropic of Cancer, we will get the high temperature and high precipitation. But if we go at the upper area above this 23 and a half knot, then we can say that we have the lesser insulation at there, and because of that, we will have the cold, we will have the cold climate. Some kind of these things we can hypothesize. Okay, so this is the latitudinal extent. Then the Great Himalayas. Danish, will you explain how this Great Himalaya determine the climate of India?
Okay, ma'am. So basically, the Great Himalayas or the Himalayan ranges form a barrier to the northern side of the northern part of the India. Basically, it protects the northern India from the coming cold winds from the Central Asia. So that's why we have a moderate type of climate.
Okay, so the jet stream and these westerlies that are coming from the west side, so the Himalaya can protect us from this kind of harsh cold winds. But the second thing is also that the most of the monsoon wind, monsoon is mainly dominated or is dependent on the Great Himalayas as well, because this is the range where the wind gets stuck and it changes direction, and because of this we get the rainfall in Uttar Pradesh, in Bihar, in this region. So yes, because of Greater Himalaya, we these harsh and cold winds are not coming in the India, and second is because of it, monsoon remains within India only. It doesn't go anywhere. Okay. The third is distribution of land and water. Kuldeep, I think you people will explain it already. Okay. Distribution of land and water. Kuldeep.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, because of land breeze and sea breeze, um, I mean the land portion heats up quickly than the water area or water bodies.
Why does it happen that land hit it quickly and cool down quickly, but not the water? What the property water has?
Uh, Ma'am, it's Liquid
Specific,
state.
have you read that specific heat capacity? So what is specific heat capacity? It is a like the amount of energy or heat required to raise the 1 degree temperature. So the specific heat capacity of water is very high. It requires very high, a large amount of heat to just reach the 1 degree Celsius. Okay, so this is the specific heat capacity. Because of higher specific heat capacity of water, the water uh, cools down slowly and even heats slowly. Okay. And what about land, Kuldeep?
Ma'am, land, because uh, the upper layer of land heats up usually, but in water, uh, as water is translucent, uh,
Yes,
so
exactly.
not only the upper layer, but also somewhere in the depth, the water heats up, and it took some time.
Okay, so the crux of this distribution of land and water can be like this. Water cools slowly and heated slowly, but the cooling and heating of land is very rapid, and because of that, there is a differential heating. Okay, and because of this differential heating, we get the monsoon in the Indian continent. Okay, next is the distance from sea. So whenever we go far away from the sea, we will get the extreme climate, whether it is whether it is the hot temperature or the cold. And whenever we have the sea, because sea has the moderative capacity, so because of this moderate ability of the sea, we will get the, like, we don't have the extreme range of coldness and hotness. Okay, so then we have the altitude. As we go with the height, uh, then the uh, then the temperature cools down. Okay, and if we talk about the relief, it is just related to the altitude. Okay, now we have the four seasons. We have hot season that start from March and ends in June in the northern area. But if we talk about the southern area of India, then here we have the equatable region. Like, we don't have the hot season here. Okay, because of the sea. Okay, then second, we have the southwest monsoon that start in June and ends in September, and southern area receive earlier. Then we have the retreating monsoon that start in October and ends in November. Then we also have the cold monsoon, cold season that starts in November and ends in February in the northern region, but in the southern region again we don't have that cold season because of the sea there. Then we also have the winter rain in the east coast. Okay, let's talk about the monsoon, what the monsoon is. So the word monsoon is believed to have been originated from the Arabic word for the season, mosim. Okay, so it is basically the seasonal wind, and we already have talked about the bridges, sea bridge, and land bridge. So some of the scholars says that that these monsoon winds are just the land and sea bridge on the large scale. But some of the points has been come up where we can't say that these are the land or sea bridge, because there are more than 3 or 4 factors that has upon which this monsoon depends. Okay, so so what is monsoons? Monsoons are basically seasonal wind that reverse their direction according to the change in season. Hence, they are the periodic winds. Okay, and they travel from sea to land in summer and from land to sea during winters. Because of that, only this scholar told that these are the bridges, and hence these are the double system of the seasonal wind, because from sea to land and land to sea. You can explore more. I dropped this link here. You can see this YouTube. I don't know the name of this YouTubers, but yes, he explained very well about the monsoon. Can anyone explain like how this monsoon come from this Indian Ocean and how we get rainfall in India? Kuldeep, you are just reading the physical geography, right? Just explain it. Kuldeep. Okay, Danish.
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Uh,
Ma'am, that is because of the ITCZ, that is Intertropical Convergence Zone, where
where it is formed in the summer season.
it is in 10-degree north to equator
No, no,
in
no.
the northern hemisphere.
In the summer time, this ITCZ formed here near to 25 to 30-degree north. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and what happened next?
So this is a zone where what to say, where westerlies meet and
Not western. Yes, like the trade winds will meet here. Okay, so this will create the low pressure zone. Okay, see, in the first you will see in the summer uh, we have the apparent movement of sun toward the north, toward the northern latitude. Okay, because of apparent movement of sun, we will get high insolation in that area. Okay, and we also have desert in this, and this desert area get heated very quickly and very rapidly because the apparent movement of sun, we will get the ITCZ here, and this ITCZ will create the low pressure belt in this region. Okay, so first thing is clear that we get the high low pressure belt in this region. The second thing is we also know that this land heats very quickly as comparison to the sea. Okay, so we have the sea water, then sea will have the, let's say, the high pressure belt. Okay, because this is low pressure belt, then no doubt the water is being heated, but the rate at which it is heated is the slow. Okay, that's why we will have the low pressure belt here and the high pressure belt here. So what will happen? We have low pressure here, high pressure here. The air will from high pressure to low pressure. So, and this air will have the moisture with it because it is coming from the ocean. So this moisture laden wind will come up in the Indian continent, and we will have the monsoon. So this two direction in the it will come from the Arabian Sea, and it will also come from the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so when it is coming from the Arabian Sea, we will have the rainfall in this area firstly. Okay, and if it is coming in the Bay of Bengal, we talked about here the mountains we have. Okay, so what will happen? This wind will stuck to the mountain here, and we will also have rainfall in this our northern plain as well. So this is the basic reason for the monsoon is the differential heating of water and land. So is it clear, Kuldeep, now? Kuldeep, Danish, it is clear
Yes, ma'am.
how this monsoon is formed?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now let's talk about the classification of climate. Okay, so one of the geographer, the name is Koppen, gave the classification of climate, and this is mostly used classification of climate. Okay, it was developed by Vladimir Peter Koppen in 1884, and he also recognized a close relationship between the distribution of vegetation and the climate. And the classification is based on the temperature and precipitation. So he calculated the annual and monthly averages of this temperature and precipitation, and based on that he gave some classification. And he selected the specific value of temperature. Let's say he just said that if it is if the okay, Kuldeep, don't worry. So he selected specific value of temperature and precipitation. So let's say he's saying that if we have the average temperature of above 22 degree, then we will call it the warm climate. Okay, so he gave the specific value of temperature and precipitation, and he also related them to the distribution of vegetation. Based on these values, based on this temperature and precipitation, he also told about what type of vegetation we can have at that region. Okay, so and use this value for classifying the climate. So this Köppen classification is empirical in nature. Empirical, what do you mean by empirical? Empirical is, it is not based on just logic and the theory. It has been proven. It has been done by collecting the observational data set as well. So this classification is empirical in nature based on climatic data. He identified five major climatic groups we will talk about in next slide. And then each climate group is divided into subtype on the basis of seasonal variation in the distribution pattern of precipitation and temperature. Let's explore it more. So we have, here we have 6. This H has been added later. So A means tropical, B means dry climate, C means warm temperate, D means cold snow forest, E means cold climate, and this D is also known as the continental, and this E is also known as polar. Don't be confused here. Okay, so this tropical, he said that if the average temperature of the coldest month is 18 degrees Celsius or higher, then this will be the tropical climate. Okay, here he told that if we have the potential evaporation, if it is exceeding the precipitation, then it will be the dry climate. Means there will be more evaporation than the precipitation, then we will get the dry climate. If we talk about the warm temperate, then the average temperature of the coldest month of the climatic years is higher than -3 but below 18. Means -3 to 18 degree. If we have the average temperature of the coldest month, then we will call it the warm temperate. D is cold snow forest. If the average temperature of the coldest month is -3 degree or below. Okay, so here we started with the 18 degree. If it is above 18, then it is the tropical. If it is between -3 to 18, then we have warm. If it is less than 3, then we have the cold snow forest. Okay, and if we talk about this E, cold climate, the average temperature for all month is below 10 degrees Celsius. And here highland, here cold condition is here, and this is because of the high elevation. This has been taken from Wikipedia. You can also see that. Okay, so these were the climatic groups, but because we have the seasonal variability, so we must have some subtypes of this climatic group. So for the subtype, we have some nomenclature based on the precipitation, and we also have some nomenclature based on the temperature. If so, these are the precipitation based codes. If we have desert, means we don't have the sufficient rainfall, then we will see it as W, capital W. If we have the semi-arid condition, is we have the rainfall, but that is also not sufficient. then we have the code capital S. If it is fully humid, like we don't have any dry season, then it is small f, small f. If we have summer dry, like if we don't have rainfall or very insufficient rainfall in summer, then it is S, same like W. And if we have rainfall in the monsoon, like in a specific period, in a very periodic manner, we are getting the getting the rainfall, then it will be M. Okay, so these are based on the precipitation. Here we have K, H, A, B, C, D, F, and T. These are based on the temperature. I'm just quickly revising it because most of the questions that has been asked in the assignment are based on these. Basically, 5 or 6 questions has been asked on this nomenclature only. So if we have K, small k, it is the hot arid. If we have H, then it is cold arid. Then we have A, B, C. Here we have the summer. A means hot, B means warm, C means cool. Okay. Can Danish tell me what's the difference between hot and warm summer? Like hot and summer must be similar. So what's the difference between it?
Ma'am, difference between hot and warm summer. Ma'am, basically, hot is that it in terms of temperature, it will be like above 45 or 50 degrees somewhere else. But in warm, it is below than 45-degree temperatures, as far as I know.
It can be, but because I was
I have
revising.
it
Yeah.
was in the context of Indian subcontinent. So we told that deserts are hotter, and the plain areas are warmer. That's why.
Okay, when I was reading on like the difference between hot summer and warm summer in the context of Köppen classification, that then I found that in the hot summer, if we have the average temperature above the 22 degrees Celsius, then we will call it the hot summer. If we don't have if we don't have the average temperature of 22 degrees Celsius, like if it is less than 22 degrees Celsius, we are talking about the average of day and night. Okay, so if it is below the 22 degrees Celsius, then we will call it the warm summer. I don't know it is right or wrong, but yes, I found it somewhere in the Google. So based on that, I told you. Okay, so please clarify it, and the next session you can also tell me like what was like what's the difference between hot and warm summer. Okay, Danish.
Pardon, ma'am.
I just want you to explore more about this hot and warm summer, because somewhere I found the definition of this 22 degrees Celsius and you are talking about the 40 or 45 degrees Celsius. So can you please
Okay, ma'am.
clarify and tell me in the next sessions
Okay, ma'am.
yeah, can explore it more. Okay. Okay. Then we have the cool summer. If we have D is the extremely continental summer or very cold winter. F means polar frost and T means polar tundra. Okay, so okay, hot summer is 45 degrees Celsius. Okay, then I might have read somewhere wrong information. Okay, it can be happening. Okay, so based on these, based on the climatic group, then we have the subtype based on the precipitation, subtype based on the temperature. So we can classify further the climatic types. So in A group, we have 3 types: AF, AM, AW. AF means no dry season, AM monsoonal short dry season, AW winter dry season. Okay, I'm confusing with season and region. So it is season. If we talk about the B, then we have BSH. Keep in mind. No. Okay, Kuldeep. So explore it more to get like what's the difference between hot and warm temperature, and then hot and warm summer, and we will will talk about it in the next session, right? Okay, so we have BSH, BWH. Keep in mind that at the first we will have the group. At the second position, we will have the code based on the precipitation. At the third position, we will have the code based on the temperature. Okay, so if it is BSH, B means the dry climate, S means steppe or semi-arid, and H means hot arid. Okay, so this will create a climate that will be the cold latitude, low latitude, semi-arid or dry. If we have BWH, then it will be the low latitude, arid or dry. Likewise, because we have seen this already. If it is semi-arid, if it, okay, H means cold arid. So based on that, we can estimate, based on this latter code, what would be the climatic condition be there at that region. So here we have more code. We have 3 or 4 code in the C. Then in the D, we have 2 type, DF and DW. Here, DF is no dry season or severe winter, or DW is winter dry and very severe. Here, in the cold climate, we have ET and EF, no true summer or perennial ice, and highland. Here we have highland with snow. If we talk about the Indian climatic type, so we have these: AW, AMW, AS, B, B, C, D, E. Here we can see most of our climate has this A climate group. Then we have B, then we have one C, and then rarely we have D and E group. So keep in mind that we are basically the tropical country, and we also have some part of subtropical. So because we are tropical countries, so we have 3 codes that are in India. Then we have 2 codes that semi-arid steppe and the desert. We have one C code, one D code, and one E code. So keep in mind, because in the next slide you will see. Okay, so if we are talking about the climate change that is happening in the climate, so based on this Köppen classification also we can observe that climate is changing, because one survey was done in which it was found. Yes, yes, Kuldeep, yes, ash cause of Himalayas, yes, because of this elevation. Okay, so in 1901 to 1925, yes, Danish, you can ask the question.
Ma'am, I think we have also ET type of climate, that is tundra type, in the altitudes of Ladakh, Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh. Sorry, Uttarakhand.
Yes, it can be, but exactly I don't know. It can be like, it can be the part of this polar type only.
Ma'am, in the context of India, like Köppen's classification, I
Yes.
have read in Majid Hussain, we have also ET type of climate, that is tundra type.
Okay, so yes, I can agree with you that we can also have the ET type, but I didn't explore it more, so I can't like argue with it. Okay, so yes, we can assume that we can have the ET, but I will clarify in the next session, right? Yes, this can also be the one reason that we have the whenever we read from the different sources, we also have some different classification. Yes, this can be one absolute reason. But yes, if there is a doubt, we will try to solve it, and we will come on a one conclusion. Yes, we will explore it more. Okay. Okay, so if we want to know that climate is changing, okay, so we can also use the Köppen classification. In 1901 to 1925, we found that we mostly have the A, B, C categories. Okay, so the climatic group we had at that time from 1901 to 1925, we had A, B, C. Okay, but whenever we are collecting the data from 1976 to 2000, we got to know that most of this B and C category are merging into A only. Okay, so we are getting high temperature, high precipitation. Okay, so based on that, we can say that our climate is changing. Okay, and because all of these categories are merging only into one category, then we can also say that because B and C may have different type of creature and different type of habitat, different type of organism. So these type of organism or the biodiversity can be extinct or have to adjust according to the A category. And if they are not adjusting, they will be extinct. Okay, so because of that climate change, we are losing so much of our biodiversity from India. Okay, so let's talk about the habitat. This is mostly based on the vegetation. So let's talk about the tropical evergreen forest. If we are talking about the evergreen, we have three different types. The first is moist evergreen, the second is semi-evergreen, and third is dry evergreen. So we will have the evergreen forest. What do you mean by evergreen, and what's the difference between evergreen and deciduous?
Ma'am, evergreen remains like green for whole of the year. They do not shed their leaves, particularly in a particular period of time. They shed their leaves simultaneously. And in comparison to deciduous forests shed their leaves at a single point of time.
Exactly. So we have evergreen forest where we can found it. We can found it near to the in the Western Ghat, in the Andaman and Nicobar Island, and in the northeast region. Okay. So here what will be the climatic condition? They are found in warm and humid areas, and because deciduous fold their leaf in the summer season, so that evaporation doesn't exceed the precipitation, right? So but here in the evergreen we have the annual precipitation that is over 200 centimeter and mean annual temperature above 22 degrees Celsius. So here we can say that we have enough temperature, we have enough rainfall. So so here in that region we can have the moist evergreen forest. Okay, here height of the tree can be reached up to 60 meter or above, and there is a no definite time for tree to shed their leaf, as the Danish said, flowering or fruitation. These forests appear green all the year round. Some species are rosewood, mahogany, any, abbey, etc. Okay. Next, we have the semi-evergreen. Here these are the less rainy part of these region. Okay, so these are also found in Western Ghat and Andaman and Nicobar and northeastern region. But here, rain is less as comparison to that moist evergreen forest. Okay, so such forests have a mixture of moist evergreen and moist deciduous trees as well. Okay, so we can also get here the climbers, and some species are white cedar, wallock, and kale. And if we talk about the dry evergreens, so these are found in the Shivalik hills and foothills of the Himalayas, up to the height of 1,000 meter in the north. It can be found in Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka first in the south. What will be the climate conditions? So we have the prolonged hot and dry season and a cold winter here, and because of that we get the dry evergreen. So the trees can be pomegranate, olive, and the oleander. Let's talk about the tropical deciduous, because Danish told that at the specific time or the specific season we get the shedding leaves. Okay, so and monsoon is also seasonal, so these are also known as the monsoon forest. So So we have the moist deciduous forest, dry deciduous forest. Okay, so these two type of forest. In the moist, these forests are found in northeast state along the foothills of Himalayas, eastern slope of the Western Ghat and Odisha. Here, rainfall can be between 100 to 200 centimeter. Okay, tree has the great height, but not as much of the evergreen, and some of the tree species that are present here are teak, sal, shisham, pura, mahua, amla. So this kind of moist deciduous can be also found in MP as well, because I saw that teak, sal, shisham kind of forest there as well. Now the dry deciduous forest, these are found throughout the northern part of the country except in North America, Northeast. So can anyone tell me like what type of forest we have in majority in India? It is dry deciduous or moist deciduous or evergreen? Yes.
Ma'am, tropical.
Yes, tropical. After that, tropical, evergreen, or tropical deciduous. What type?
Tropical
Deciduous.
deciduous.
Okay, so most of forests are tropical. One thing. Second thing, most of forests are deciduous, not the evergreen. The third is either it is most deciduous or dry deciduous. So majority of India, we have dry deciduous forest at most. Okay. So, and here also we can see that they found throughout the northern part of the country, except in northeast. They also found in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, and cover vast area of country where rainfall range between 70 100 centimeter. Okay, because there are so many range, like we read that in the evergreen forest, the range is above 200 centimeter. For the deciduous, the range is 100 to 200 centimeter. Okay, for the dry deciduous, we have the range 70 to 100 centimeters. So one question in my mind is that what's the average rainfall in India?
Ma'am, no idea. Oh,
Okay, yeah, Danish knows. And because
Ma'am, what,
and yes,
ma'am, average rainfall in India?
yes,
Ma'am, it is around 115 to 120 centimeter.
yes, exactly. And if we talk about like Mosim Ram and Chirpunji, then how much? What's the average precipitation there?
Ma'am, something around 200 above.
Not not 200. You can go somewhere in the thousand as well.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we can like guess that in India we have the average rainfall that varies from 100 to 150. Okay, this is the average because in the Western Ghat we can get more than 150 because we can get above 200 centimeter as well. So this is the average. Like we have the 150 around centimeter average rainfall we have in the India. Okay. Okay, so on the wetter margin, it has the transition to the moist deciduous, while on the drier margin to thorn forest. So one question also I have in my mind, then if there is a transition, okay, there is the one kind of forest, let's say the evergreen, then we have like the moist evergreen, then we have the dry evergreen. Okay, so we have two forests. One is the moist evergreen, the second is dry evergreen, and there is a transition between it. Okay, so will this transition a fertile forest or not? And what this transition is known as?
Ma'am, this transition is known as ecotone.
Ecotone.
Yes, exactly. And will it be a fertile land or fertile forest or not?
Yes, ma'am. It will be fertile.
Yes, ma'am, it will be fertile.
Oh, you people are very much expert in geography. Okay, that's good. You already know about it. Okay, so let's talk about some species or trees that are present in dry deciduous. Then we have Tendu, Balas, Amalthus, Bale, Kher, Axelwood. Tendu leaf is known for,
For which, ma'am? Tendu leaves.
yes,
Ma'am, it is known for making beads.
yes, exactly. Okay, and we also have some beautiful flower of this Palas, Amalthus as well. Okay, so let's talk about so what kind of question it is, Kuldeep? So what, like, I didn't get the question. Okay, let's talk about the thorn forest. So these thorn forests are present where we receive the annual rainfall less than 50 centimeters. So we can found it in the southwest Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, as we can expect, because the rainfall is less than 50 centimeter. Here the trees are babool, acacia, cocoa, kher, khajuri, ber, neem, and palas, and you can see the most of trees have a very short type of leaf that prevent it from the higher evapotranspiration or the higher transpiration, because they have the less rainfall and they have the less water to survive. So this type of leaf we can find in this species. Okay, then we have montane. Montane means we are talking about the elevational or altitudinal forest. Okay, so in the montane, we have two: montane wet temperate and montane subtropical forest. If we are talking about montane wet temperate, so let here see. It is a mountain. Mountain means on the Himalayas or on the hills or mountains. It is wet, like the rainfall is good. Temperate means it is not tropical, it is above the 23 degree and a half north. Okay, so it occurs in the north and southern India. In the north India we can found it into the Arunachal Pradesh at the height of 1800 to 3000 meter, and here minimum rainfall is 200 centimeter. In the south we can found it in the Nilgiri hills, the higher reach of the Kerala as well. So trees we can found here, it is rhododendron, champa, and many other type of species. Um, this rhododendron is famous for what? Have you read about this rhododendron? Burans ka fool. These are very beautiful red color, red flowers that are that you can found in the Himalayan region. Okay, so these are famous for the squash and the juices that can be found because of this rhododendron, and this has the medicinal value as well. Okay, okay, it's all right, Danish, and because okay, let's not talk more about it. Then we have the mountain subtropical forest. The climatic condition here would be the average rainfall is 100 to 200 centimeter, and the temperature varies between 15 to 22 degrees Celsius. These type of mountain subtropical forest we can found in Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. And cheed, the pine is the main tree, but oak is. Can you tell me the name of this? The scientific or botanical name of this pine, cheed, and this oak, and this
Ma'am,
jamun? Yes.
don't know about it.
Okay, so the botanical name, I'm just telling you because my background is botany somewhere in my undergraduation, so I know the scientific name. So if we are talking about this cheed, then the scientific name is Pinus roxburghi. Oak is the Quercus species. Jamun, Syzygium, Rhododendron. Rhododendron is a like the genus name as well. So this kind of trees we can found in mountain subtropical forest. Okay, so we also have some Himalayan forest, Himalayan moist forest, and Himalayan dry forest. It's okay, Kuldeep, because you are not the botany student. You are not that much customized to listening the botanical names, so don't worry about it. So we have the Himalayan moist forest in the Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and northern hilly part of Bengal. We can find this Himalayan moist forest. The elevation varies from 1,000 to 2,000 meter, and trees can be oak, chestnut, chit, salve, and some shrubs and the nutritious grasses. We have the Himalayan dry temperate. These are found in J&K, Champa, Lahore, and Kinnaur district and Sikkim. And here the coniferous tree are the Devdar, oak, chilgoza, maple, olive, mulberry, and willows. So let me ask you the question about these willows. You must know willows are used for what? Danish? Willows are used for making the bats.
Ma'am, making beds.
Okay. And this chilgoza, have you heard the word chilgoza?
Yes, ma'am, but not as a name of tree.
Okay. Yes, you must have heard about the that nuts. This is the kind of nuts we get, like dry fruit.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so chilgoza is nothing but a kind of like Pinus species only, Pinus giardiana, where we can get the dry fruit or nut from that cone, and this is very expensive. Like it is very costly, 3,000 or 4,000 per kg. I think we can get these nuts. These are very costly, and these are very nutritious, and most of the mountains people where there is a heavy snow, these people consume this kind of nuts in a very harsh climate. So this is a dry fruit chilgoza. Then we have the alpine and subalpine. Here the elevation is 2,500 to 4,000 meter, and this extends from Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, and average height is 2,900 meter to 3,500 meter. Okay, and here we can also get the trees like juniper, rhododendron, willows, and black currants. In the eastern part, we can get the red fir, black juniper, birch, and lurch. These are the common trees there. Then we have the littoral or the swamp forest. These forests are can be found near to the delta area or along the Andaman or Nicobar. So, or the near to the delta, either it is of Mahanadi or the Godavari or the Krishna delta. So here most of the forests are dense and impenetrable, so we cannot go very inside to this forest. Only a limited number of plants are found in this evergreen forest. And because of this, because these are in delta region, they have roots that consist of soft tissue so that plant can breathe in the water. And it mainly consists of whistling pines, mangrove dates, palms, and bullet woods. Then we have the mangroves. We already know about the mangroves. These are very important and very vulnerable forest right now in India, and these are very useful for us because they stabilize the shoreline and protect the coastal areas from erosion. And Sundarban along the Ganga's delta is the largest tidal forest in the world. Okay, so we have covered two parts. Let's finish the third part very quickly about the drainage system. And in drainage system, we will talk about the drainage pattern. So in the drainage system, we will talk about the two questions: how do river move? And second question is, what sort of pattern do they move? So before that, we must know about what is the drainage system, what is the basin, what is the river. So let's talk about it more. So when there is the flow of water through well-defined channel, then we will call it is a drainage. Okay, and if there is the network of network of such channels, then it is a drainage system. Okay, so if we have a river Ganga that are flowing in a well-defined channel, then it is a drainage. Okay, and there is so many tributaries that are converging or diverging to this Ganga, then it forms a network. So this network will known as the drainage system. Okay, so drainage system of an area is the outcome of geological time period, nature and structure of rock, slope, topography, amount of water flowing, and the periodicity of the flow. This is already clear. Then the area drained by a single river system. If there is a single river system, so that area where there are flowing is known as the drainage basin. And if there is a two drainage basin, then they will be separated by an elevated area, and this will be known as the water divide. Okay, so the world largest drainage basin is of the Amazon River, and in India, the river Ganga has the largest river basin. So we have two type of drainage system in India. The one is Himalayan drainage and second is peninsular. So what's the basic difference between Himalayan drainage and peninsular drainage system? Kuldeep, can you tell me? Yes.
Ma'am, in Himalayan drainage, the uh, the water is the water comes from glaciers of snowy peaks of Himalayas, and the rivers are perennial. The water in the
Exactly.
rivers are
This is one of the important point that you discussed. It is a perennial river. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
and in peninsular drainage system, the water is recharged from monsoon and some rainfall,
Yes.
not from
Exactly.
snow and glacier.
Exactly. So in the peninsular region, we have the peninsular drainage, and in the Himalayan and northern plains, we have the Himalayan drainage. And the most important rivers that we have in the Himalayan region are the Indus, Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. Okay. And in the peninsular, we have Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Narmada, Ravi. So these are the tributaries like Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Bias, and Satluj are the tributaries of this Indus. Yes, yes, Kuldeep.
Ma'am, what is this VOV and AS in front
Okay,
of
so this
Kaveri
is
Gandhi?
okay. So this is Bay of Bengal. So these river discharge their water in Bay of Bengal, and this Narmada and Ravi discharge their water in Arabian Sea. Okay, so here the tributary of Ganga are Yamuna, Gagra, Gandak, and Kosi. There are more tributaries that didn't mention here. And for the Yamuna, the tributaries are Chambal, Betwa, and Sona. So these are basically the two drainage system we have in India. Let's talk about the drainage pattern. So what kind of patterns are being created by the stream, river, or lakes that are also known as the river system? So we have basically two type of drainage pattern. So let's see this image. If there is a mountain and there is also a slope, if river is flowing according to the slope, then we will call it is the accordant. Like according to the slope, according to the structure, this river is flowing or moving. Okay, if it is not moving as per the slope, if it is cutting this high elevation and go through it after cutting it, then we will call it discordant because it is not according to the structure. Okay, so let's see the definition of accordant. The patterns correlate with the structure and the relief of the landscape over which the stream flows. This is known as the accordant. Discordant the drainage pattern does not correlate with the structure and the relief of the landscape over which the stream flow. Yes, Kuldeep.
Ma'am, accordant is also known as concordant, right?
I don't know, Kuldeep, about it because I'm not the geography student. But if you are saying it can be or cannot be, I have to clear. I
And
have
ma'am,
to cross-examine it. Yes, Tanish.
discordant is also known as superimposed or epigenetic or
Please,
superinduced.
oh, please don't come up with very hard words to me. I don't know about these words. So yes, I will explore
Actually,
about it, but I
actually
don't know.
these actually these are the types of discordant: superimposed and antecedent.
Okay, yeah, I know about the antecedent because these rivers has been formed before the structure has been come up. So
Uplifted.
these are the
Yeah, ma'am.
antecedent. I don't know about the second type. What was the second type?
Superimposed.
So can you tell me what's the superimposition? I don't know exactly.
Ma'am, I was about to ask you this.
Okay, so I don't have much knowledge about the different type of accordant and discordant. I just know the definition of it. So you people can read more. Okay. Let's have the example of discordant. So Brahmaputra has the antecedent discordant drainage because we know that this river has been formed before the Himalayan region uplifted. Okay, so the river existed before the uplifting of the Himalayas, and the river was able to continue its vertical incision during the uplift. So it continued to cut off this Himalayan region, and it maintained whatever the course it had initially. Okay, and that resulted into the Great Canyon, Yarlung, the Sangpo, that is cutting the Himalayas. So this is the example of discordant. Okay, let's talk about different type of drainage pattern we have. So the first drainage pattern we have is the dendrite or pinnate drainage. Dendrite means similar to the tree structure. Here we can see here it is a main trunk. Then we have the branch, we have the sub branches. So this type of structure when formed, it is the dendrite or pinnate drainage pattern. So this is the irregular tree branch shaped pattern drainage which is branching or ramifying, thereby giving the appearance of a tree. These develop in a terrain which has the uniform lithology and where faulting and joint are not very significant. Okay, the example are Indus, Godavari, Mahanadi, Kaveri, and Krishna. And this is the most common drainage system in India. And here, because we talked about like this develop in a terrain that has the uniform lithology, and we can also say that these are found on the impervious rock that this water cannot penetrate in such kind of rocks where it is found. And this is strongly accordant, but we can't say that this is not the discordant. It can be discordant, but is strongly accordant. Okay, now we have the parallel drainage system. Here we can see the rivers are parallel to each other. So when does it happen? So what's the reason that they are happening in the parallel manner? Sandeep, can you
Yes,
guess?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there are two reasons. The first one is when there is a mountain range or a hill range. So when there are two rivers on each side, they will run parallelly, and they will meet when the mountain range or the hill range will end.
Yes, exactly. And the second reason will be that there may be a sequence of hard rock and soft rock. So it may be that
Yes,
there is a series of hard rock here, and where there is a cutting or there is a erosion is happening, these are the soft rocks. So if there is such pattern of soft rock and hard rock, then we can get this parallel drainage pattern as well. Okay. Um, And here, because of this parallel pattern, we will have very few tributaries, because we will not have the tributaries now if they are moving in a very parallel direction. Then we will have the trellis. Trellis are just like, when you grow a vine, when you grow a grapevine in your garden, then you have that rectangular netted structure on which you grow this grapevine. Okay, so such kind of structure we can find in our drainage system as well. So here you can see, in this type of pattern, the short subsequent stream meet the main stream at the right angle, and the differential erosion through soft rock pave the way uh, for the tributaries. Okay, so here we can see the stream meet at the right angles. Okay, often arise when hard and soft rock exist on the both sides of the main river. Example is old folded mountains of the Singhbum in the Chota Nagpur Plateau and Shine and their tributaries in Paris Basin have the drainage of trellis pattern. Then we have the rectangular pattern. Whenever they are moving, they are moving in the 90-degree angle. Okay, so the mainstream bends at the right angle and tributary also join at the right angle, creating a rectangular pattern. Okay, so the joint has less resistance for erosion, so the river follow the joint and open them over time. Example can be like in India, we have the Vindhya mountains, where we can find this type of the regular drainage pattern. Okay, Colorado and Green River. Okay, is it the example of rectangular drainage pattern?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we have the radial drainage. We have one point. From there, we will the many of the river will flow in the every direction. For example, if we have a volcano, so in the volcano peak, after some time, we will have the, because it is at some elevation, it will be like there will be some snow, and the river can be flow in every direction. Okay, so this is the radial drainage pattern. So the tributaries from a summit follow the slope downward and drain down in all directions. Okay, so the stream of Saurashtra region, the central French plateau, mountain Kilimanjaro, these are the example of this. Or the good example can be like in the Amarkantak mountains, we have the radial pattern. River like Narmada, Son, Mahanadi originating from the Amarkantak heath flow in the different direction are the good example of radial pattern. These can also be found in the Girnar Hills and the Mikir Hills of the Assam. Then we have the centripetal drainage pattern. If we have a depression, in that depression, many rivers can come and converge with each other. So in a low-lying basin, the stream converge from all sides, and example is stream of Ladakh, Tibet, and the Bagmati and its tributary Nepal. We have the deranged drainage pattern, when there is no any pattern. When there is no pattern in the drainage system, then we will call it is the deranged drainage system. So there is an uncoordinated pattern of drainage characteristics of a region recently vacated by an ice sheet. So this is just like when we have the glacial activities, then whatever the region that has been exposed is very new. Okay, so there would be very uncoordinated pattern of drainage. So this type of drainage is found in the glaciated valley of Karakoram. Then because in India we have two drainage system, the Himalayan and the peninsular. So let's talk more about this Himalayan drainage system. What are the different characteristics of this Himalayan drainage system? Kuldeep or Danish already have discussed about it. But yes, let's talk about it once again. So we have three rivers, three major rivers, Ganga, Indus, and the Brahmaputra, that make the river basin and making the drainage system. Okay, these are the perennial river because the water is flowing around the year, and these rivers are fed by rain and the melting snow. Antecedent river from deep gorges. So if just like Brahmaputra, if it is the antecedent river, then it will create a deep gorge. In the mountains, we will find the V-shaped valleys because the water will flow through these mountains and will create some erosional landforms. And these erosional landforms can be V-shaped valleys. There can be a rapids or the waterfalls as well. But in the plains, the river will show marked tendency to meander, will form flat valleys, oxbow lakes, floodplains, braided channel, and deltas near their mouth. One of the important characteristics of the Himalayan drainage system is that it is forming the braided channel. So, what do you mean by braided channel? Danish, will you try to explain? Will you guess what is the braided channel?
Actually, I don't have any idea of it.
Okay, Kuldeep is not able to see the slides.
Yeah, ma'am,
Danish, can you see the slide?
I can see now.
Okay.
So,
So,
ma'am,
what is
what
the
were you asking?
about the braided channel? What do you mean by braided?
Yeah, ma'am, when there is a lot of deposition by river, so there is a pattern like we can see in this PPT.
Yes, exactly. Whenever there will be a deposition, then it will turn and it will take a different direction. Okay, and after that, after some time, after some depositional direction, it will come and converge. Okay, so it is just like the hair braid we have of the girls. Okay, so this is the braided channel. If we talk about the peninsular drainage, then it is older than the Himalayan drainage. It is broad. Here we can see the shallow valleys, note the deep valleys such as V-shaped and U-shaped. Here we have the mature rivers, and Western Ghat act as a water divide. We talked about this water divide, what it will do, like why this Western Ghat is acting like a water divide.
It basically divides the drainage into two parts.
One towards the western part, western coast, and one towards the eastern coast, right?
Just like the Alaknanda and Bhagirathi are divided in
Not
Uttarakhand.
like, no, not like that. It is like a ridge that is
Oh,
happening, and it is
okay.
separating two drainage system. If we have two drainage basin, if we have one drainage basin of, let's say, Mahanadi, and if we have one drainage basin of, let's say, the Kaveri, so these two drainage basin will be separated by a ridge. So this Western Ghat is just like a ridge that is dividing the two river basins. Okay, Kuldeep, what's your
Ma'am,
question?
ma'am,
Uh-huh.
then what is a watershed?
I don't know exactly about this watershed, and you also dropped this question on the discussion forum, right, Kuldeep? Didn't you get the
Yeah,
answer?
yes, ma'am, I got.
So what was the answer?
Uh, the answer was the all the water that is drained from a basin. It is drained from a particular location. The whole location is called a watershed. It is a smaller unit of a drainage basin. Many watershed form together a drainage basin. But still, ma'am, I was a bit confused.
I'm also confused. That's why I asked you, like, did you clarify yourself about the water basin or not? So what I got is like if there is a river and the surrounding area of that river plus the river will form the watershed, and if we have some tributaries of that river and this tributary are converging to the main river, so there will be like more than two rivers and the plain area that are been created by that, so that will make the watershed, if I'm not wrong. We will clarify it as well. Okay, is it clear, Kuldeep, or
Yes, ma'am.
okay? So in the peninsular drainage, we also have the fixed course, just like we also know that in the Himalayan region, we have the high deposition, and because of this high deposition and high speed of the water of the river, we get the meandering and the formation of the Oxbow Lake as well. So here we have the fixed course, little meandering, and often there is the seasonal flow, but with the large exception as well. There can be like meandering and as well as a changing course can be happen in the peninsular drainage as well. So Narmada and Tapi flow through force and fill the crack with detritus, and thus there is the lack of alluvial and deltic deposits. So here we don't have the alluvial deposits. These river carry the detritus. Okay. Now, this is the last point. Because we have talked about the climate, we got to know that climate is changing. Then we talked about the habitat. Because climate is changing, habitat can be changed. Habitat can be because in the habitat we have different type of organisms. These can be extinct. So we have some conservation issues, right? We talked about some rivers. So over exploitation of river for water can change the biodiversity. Okay, it can dry up some water bodies, and these water bodies carries and make the survival of thousands of organisms. If we don't have that water bodies, then where this organism will go? Okay, so the over exploitation of river for water can make the vulnerable condition for the organisms that are living in that river body or the water body. Okay, the sand mining. Uh, can you talk more about the sand mining, Danish? What is sand mining? Where does it happen?
Basically, sand mining means extracting sand from the bed of the river. So it
Okay.
creates a lot of environmental hazards near the river. So due to sand mining, the vegetation is losing, and basically the vegetation inside the water bodies or the livestock of fisheries are also reducing.
You can also say that most of the nutrients are found in the sediments only, and
Yes, ma'am. And along
uh,
with sand, it gets away.
yes, exactly. Next, the fishing. You already know about it. Conversion of lotic to lentic. Kuldeep, what is lentic and what is lotic habitat?
Ma'am, I'm seeing it for the first time.
Can you guess? Okay, Danish knows about it. Danish, what is lotic and what is lentic habitat?
Ma'am, lotic are basically the flowing rivers, and lentic are the still waters.
Okay, so how we convert from lotic to lentic?
By constructing dams.
Yes, when we construct dam, we make the water stagnant, and if water is not moving, then we are converting it from the lotic to lentic habitat. And we also know that lotic have different organism and lentic have the different organism. And if we are converting it, means we are just finishing or destructing this lotic habitat, and therefore the organism that are surviving in it. Then the pollution, we know that the most of the industrial pollution, industrial discharge, we discharge into the water bodies, and that we are making it vulnerable for the organisms. Then we have the invasive species. Can you tell me the name of one invasive species that are in water? And because of that, most of other plants are being dying off.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
that is, मैम हिंदी में बताऊं?
बताओ बताओ.
In Hindi, it is called Jalkumbhi.
Yes,
You,
it is.
you कुछ something like you, I don't know.
Okay, so yes, that Jalkubi is the invasive species that. Um, um, uh, uh, did you see that beautiful flowers that Jalkubi had?
Not really.
This is very beautiful or ornamental water plant, and because of that, because of the ornamental nature of that plant, we grew it in our water bodies, and but it was invasive in nature. So because of that, most of the native species has been destructive. So this is kind of conservation issues we should keep in mind when we are reading about the drainage system, about the climate, about the habitat. So whenever we are reading the geography, then we should consider the conservation issues along with it as well. So let's come up with the assignment. You already know about it. So let's start with first question. In Köppen classification, which is CAPI precipitation. Danish, will you guess?
Ma'am, S, capital S.
Yes, capital S. Yes, exactly. The second question is in Köppen classification, which is polar frost temperature. Polar frost temperature,
F, capital F.
capital F, right? And these are the previous year questions from the assignment I have taken, but very similar to this type of question you will get in the current assignment. Okay. So in Köppen classification, which is hot summer temperature.
Small a,
Oh,
Hot summer. Yes, small a. Okay. Kuldeep, the next question. Which of these are the factors that are determining the climate of India?
ma'am, all of these.
All of these. Because we already have explained A, B, C, right?
Hmm.
Danish, next question is winter rains are common in which area?
eastern
Western.
coastal region of India,
Yeah,
Okay. And why?
because
retreating
of the
monsoon.
retreating of monsoon.
Exactly. You people are smart enough. The sixth question is, which of these are geological region of India? Mountain, the peninsular globe, the Indo-Ganga Brahmaputra basin, all of these.
All of
All
these.
of these.
Okay. In the Köppen classification, which is cool summer temperature?
C, I don't know actually.
Dan- Danish, what will be the answer?
Ma'am, it is C.
Yes, it is C. In Köppen classification, which is extremely continental temperature?
D.
EDF. Yes, it is D. Which of these is the correct sequence of season in India?
Ma'am, the B one.
B, yeah, B.
Okay, so first we have the hot summer, hot weather season, then we will have the monsoon, that is southwest, then we will have the retreating monsoon, and then we will have the cold weather. Yes, exactly it is.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
these were the questions that I had, and you people already know it. You people can complete your assignment within a second and just submit it, right? If you want to, like, I'm not forcing you to complete it, but if this type of question has been asked in the site.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a query that On Sunday, people are enjoying. Why you two people are taking the class?
Ma'am, because
Actually,
we
ma'am,
find
we,
this class very interesting.
Okay, Danish, thank you. Kuldeep, what's your reason? Yeah.
actually we both planned it, Danis and
Okay.
me. Yeah, and
So you
yeah,
people are like batchmate or something other?
yes, kinda.
Ma'am, we both study in the same university in the same batch, but we have different courses. He has geography major, and I have
Mhm.
history
History.
major, and he is having history minor, and I am having geography minor.
Okay,
Hmm.
that's why Kuldeep knows many of the answer that Danish don't know. Is it the
No,
reason
ma'am,
or
Danis knows more than
I
me.
know well. I know well in history.
Ma'am, he
no? But
knows everything.
yes, I know that because Danish is also giving most of the answers, so it is not like that Kuldeep knows everything. But yes, Danish also knows. So, are you people preparing for the UPSC or planned to prepare for the UPSC, or you have other plans?
Ma'am, actually, we are not
Other
planning
competitions.
for UPSC. We are
No.
we
See,
might
see,
go for PhD.
no, don't go for the PhD. I'm the PhD student. I know the story. Okay, so but yes, I just saw that you people are good at the geography. You people may be good at the history. So
No,
if you people know little more about the constitution or politics and little bit about the science, then you people can crack the UPSC very easily.
ma'am, actually we only know the basics. These things
Are
are really basic.
Are UPSC asks only the basic, not the advanced version. So you people know about it already. Because when I was preparing for that CDS exam, na, so I almost read that 11th and 12th geography books. So I think these content are the 11th, 12th geography content, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
So
Ma'am, can I know why PhD is right? You are not suggesting to do PhD. Why?
I just think that first we have to give 3 years for the undergraduation, 2 years for the post graduation, and then we don't know what time it will take to complete the PhD. Okay, so sometimes I feel like if I'm giving the 5 years in PhD and this is like, and even after 5 years of PhD I don't have the guarantee to get the job. Okay, so I have to struggle once again. But if after the graduation or post graduation I would have prepared for some competitive exam, so it may be that after 1 year, not in the 1 year, then the 2 year or the 3 year, I may get the permanent job. So this is the one kind of thinking I have, that if if I would have prepared for any competitive exam, then it would take 3 or 4 years maximum to get the to get the job. But in the PhD at like, if you are in a very prestigious institute like the IITs or ICERs, then your PhD will be finished only in 5 years or more than 5 years. And then after 5 years, because I know that after that PhD no one gets the job, no one gets the government job or the permanent job. Everyone have to go for the postdoctorate, and they have to complete 1 or 2 postdoctorate in the foreign. Like if I talk about my lab where I am doing my PhD, so 4 or 5 PhD student has been completed their PhD, and now they are in foreign, like some in America or some in Europe. They are doing their postdocs. After getting postdoc, after getting research experience, they will try to come in India and will get the job. So I think this is the time where you want to settle down. Okay, so in spite of being settled down, you are struggling with coming in India and trying to get the job. So that's why I think that first we should try to get the job before PhD. And yes, if we are like, if you want to be uh, very good researcher, or if you are just very interested in doing research, then you are welcome. Then there is a no another place other than this PhD. You are welcome to come and do the PhD. But if your aim is to get the job, then I would say ki it will be the wastage of a lot of time. Then you can start preparing for some competitive exam and get the job as soon as possible. So this is my view actually, and it may be very biased. It may so this is only my view. Your view can be different, and you can think differently as well. So you want who want to be an archaeologist?
Danis. Um,
Okay, Danish, you want to know like what stone had what years ago this stone was formed, such like
Yes, ma'am. I'm very good at like in gade murde ukhaadne mein.
that? Okay. So do you know about that radioactive dating and something like that?
Yes, ma'am.
hmm.
I'm exploring this thing, and uh, after graduation, I have think to like go for my master's from like some prestigious institution in Europe and Germany. From there, I can pursue my archaeology if
You
I
can
get
also
an
do some
scholarship.
internship.
Yes, ma'am. I'm also like looking for it, the summer school internships. So,
Yes, in ICER Bhopal, where I'm a PhD student, there is a geology department, Earth and Environmental Sciences. So in the Earth part, there is a geology. In that geology, they are trying to find out like, oh, what type of rock it has, and what like how old that rock is. So such kind of studies are being done in that department. So in the summer school internship, you can try and come in ISER Bhopal and explore this kind of research as well.
ma'am,
You will
are
know
we
about some
eligible?
research. Yes, everyone like from undergraduation is eligible for this summer
Actually, ma'am,
internship.
we are the BA students. That's why.
Yes, you people can try. Yes, if you want to do the research, you can know something about the research. Now, what type of research we do in the PhD? So to get the idea about it, you can join the summer internship program. In my lab as well, 3 months ago, a student from the Pune University, that Ferguson College, he came. He was the undergraduate student only. He did his internship for the 3 months, and he left for this Ferguson College again. So you can also try for this kind of internship, so you will get some idea of what kind of work you want to do, and what kind of research we have in India, and what kind of technology and advancement of technology we have in India. Kuldeep, where is your plan? Like you want, what's your plan for the future?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm doing BA honors from Aligarh Muslim University, geography.
Uh-huh.
Say
Uh-huh.
so. In geography, I'm interested in physical geography, and in physical geography, there is ma'am. He's some asking something. In physical geography, we have geomorphology. So
Uh-huh.
I am